Honest J. Nowak. Coming at you live. Alright. A pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to HJN Graphix. For this episode on Honest J. Nowak, let's go ahead and take a look at another Black Ops title. And no, it's not Cold War, if that's what you're thinking. This time we're going to be talking about the prequel to Black Ops 4, simply known as Black Ops 3. This game was released in 2015, just like Until Dawn. So, I guess we still have that around, don't we? But anyways, Black Ops 3 was another Call of Duty title that we had no idea could be so well made. At the time, I considered Black Ops 3 to probably be the best sort of online tournament game in the entire world, in the entire existence of humanity ever. That's what it pretty much was me at the time. A 16-year-old me with foreign accent syndrome, ASD, delusions, and a ton of other horrible things that had happened. So, the thing here is, Black Ops 3 is just that enjoyable. Even as a revisitation, I've really got to say that this had so much built into it. Because I revisited it in August 2020, just like so many other titles out there, I will say for sure that the details are certainly fresh in my mind. You basically have a campaign mode, a multiplayer mode, a zombies mode, of course, as well as a shop where you can find out different DLC packs, including different weapons, levels for the zombies mode, and plenty of other unique add-ons that you can buy, even to this day. Unlike with Advanced Warfare, you cannot pick up EXO zombies no more. Which is stupid, but again, who even knows, maybe Black Ops 3's DLCs might also be gone at some point. But if I want to go ahead and talk about this in detail, then well, let's just start with the campaign mode. Black Ops 1 takes place between 1961 and 1968, at the time of the Bay of Pigs, Cuban Missile Crisis, and the Vietnam War. Black Ops 2 takes place primarily between 1986 and 1989, for all the times where you get to play as Alex Mason, at the time where there were a lot of things happening with the Cold War, the events going down in places like Panama and Nicaragua, and then of course we cannot forget the time where they went off to Afghanistan, where they got betrayed by a bunch of Kabul armies. And then of course it mainly takes place in the year 2025. It's only a few years from now, believe it or not, so who even knows if we'll ever experience any of that stuff that happens in the game. Probably unlikely, since we don't even have anything close to that technology by this point. You basically play as David Mason in that game in the year 2025. And the thing is, with Black Ops 3, it's a whole lot different compared to parts 1 and 2. You don't get to play as Alex or David Mason, as it takes place much further in the future. In the years 2054 and 2065, supposedly. That seems to be the best sort of accurate suggestion that I was able to figure out. 2054 to 2065, pretty much. Meanwhile, when discussing Black Ops 4, it doesn't really seem to show whatever kind of time period you're in, but supposedly people have suggested that it takes place between the events of Black Ops 2 and 3, so anywhere between 2026 and 2053. But for Black Ops 3 entirely, 2065, that's a pretty long time from now. More than 40 years ahead. But when you look at it this way, it probably is a good thing to try and differentiate it a bit more from the originals, because if you were to go on a tangent of continuously trying to rehash certain things out there, it pretty much started off in the Vietnam War with Alex Mason, and then decades later with David Mason. So if at any point in time there probably would have been a point where another Mason would have showed up, then well, it probably would have been okay. I mean, it's probably alright as well, because pretty much all the main characters have died off by that point in time. In the year 2065, pretty much nobody from the other Black Ops games would even be alive. Ever. Alex would not be alive, Woods would not be alive. Adler, pretty much, from Cold War. Yeah, we got some time before we got to talk about that. I will say, though, that the campaign mode, though, does give us some pretty nice new highlights. But yet, a lot of people are really taking a crap all over it. That's pretty much what people are doing nowadays. So at this point, I'll just do you a favor and move on to the multiplayer mode. And wow, was Black Ops 3 the greatest multiplayer title in the world? At the time, especially. You get to run off of walls, you get to switch between different weapons very easily, you get to slide at a really long distance even, which will allow you to get through certain obstacles that will require you to slide, pretty much. You get to jump along with a sort of jetpack that allows you to fly for a certain period of time, which will also allow you to clear ginormous gaps. I tell you, this game is jam-packed with all sorts of things that really make you wonder, could you perform any of these things in real life? Well, truthfully, if it were the year 2065 in real life, chances are technology probably could have some advances to it, but maybe not that much. There's a lot of regression taking place in terms of scientific progression, but in all senses of the word, it's fair to say we're probably not going to have something like that. The fiction tries to be better than real life, and that seems to be what the biggest part about this is, about how it can get so popular overnight. The way that they show the future to you, the fiction and all that good stuff. It's a lot like how huge the Back to the Future trilogy got overnight, when the fact that they showed us what the year 2015 would supposedly be like, and because we've been there and past that, of course we have things out there like hoverboards, of course we have things out there like self-tying shoes, of course we have certain things out there like DeLoreans, but DeLoreans are a certain treasure that you would have to pay a lot of money in order to own. And same thing would go with, well, anything that flies. Because cars do not necessarily fly. At least not in the way that they've been depicted in Back to the Future. But when discussing Black Ops 3 and the future that it shows us, with jetpacks that'll allow us to fly for a short period of time, being able to run off of walls, being able to summon certain technology to allow you to assist in battle, that's probably something only the government will only be allowed to have. And they're basically just showing us a possibility of what progression in technology would be like if the government were to continue doing research of all sorts of things out there like that. Well, you know what? I guess it's better to just leave it well enough alone. And maybe at some point we probably will get technology that's even better than usual. But at this point, I don't really see that happening for a while. The year 2065, I'll be 66 years old. Who even knows? Am I going to be able to regrow all this lost hair? Am I going to be able to have the most slender figure ever with just the touch of, well, some kind of machinery out there, or even a pill? Would I be able to have the ultimate levels of energy and be able to continuously run a marathon? Who knows? But right now, it's probably not necessarily the best time to talk about that. Black Ops 3 had everything you need. It even had probably an amazing zombies mode on there, but compared to many other titles, I will say zombies is probably debatable. Yet it was still amazing here, so I'll give it that. Well, at this point, it's just going to be quite some time before I even get to many of the other Call of Duty titles out there, because there are tons of others I will go ahead and talk about first. But if you want to see more go down to my channel, then make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.